According to a report by The Guardian, the Home Office is facing calls to release a report on domestic left-wing extremism. Baroness Jenny Jones, the only member of the House of Lords that the Green Party has here in the UK, is calling on the Home Office to release a report that's called the Left-Wing Activism and Extremism in the UK report. Jones is one of a number of politicians and activists who've been placed on the government's secretive domestic extremist database, which is basically a database of people in the UK who are considered to be right-wing or left-wing extremists. Now, a Freedom of Information request put in by The Guardian found that the EAU, the Extremism Analysis Unit, was established by Home Secretary Theresa May back in 2015. And it's been involved in creating this blacklist of individuals and organisations who are considered extreme that the government should simply not engage with. The secretive database contains the information of anybody who's of any kind of political interest to the police, whether or not they've been arrested previously. A previous report by The Guardian explained, the Domestic Extremism Unit, run by Scotland Yard, has been monitoring thousands of political activists in order, it says, to identify the hardcore minority who have broken or are about to break the law during protests. The database has attracted controversy, particularly as campaigners who had not committed any crime found themselves on it. One campaigner discovered that the police had monitored him while he was at Glastonbury Music Festival. The Metropolitan Police said that it would not be appropriate to comment as there are ongoing legal proceedings. Jones used data protection laws to find out that she was being monitored, and she's just one of a number of Green Party politicians who found themselves to be on this extremist database. So naturally, Jones is now calling on the Home Office to release their left-wing activism and extremism report. And Jones no doubt believes that the police have gone too far in their research into left-wing extremism. Jones said, over the past decade, the police have become more and more confused about their duty to facilitate peaceful protests and are prone to see any disruption as extremist. The Met Police put me on their domestic extremist database for years when I was a member of their own oversight body, the Police Authority and Deputy Mayor of London. It's deeply worrying that the Home Office has a report that must include definitions of extremism that many people would see as far too broad, when protest and dissent are necessary within a democracy. Here's my take on this. Sure, I do accept, of course, that the police go too far quite a lot of the time, and hell, I bet I'm probably on this same list as her. And yes, I don't think that's right. The police are far too broad with their definition of extremism. And I think that's partly a result of the left's activism, because when the left calls everybody under the sun far right, they muddy the waters and cause confusion about what the far right actually is. So everybody becomes far right, and then the police has to monitor everybody. And when it comes to left-wing extremism, well, can you blame them for having a hard time separating the sort of moderate Green Party politicians with an Antifa thug who goes out in the street and throws bricks at old women? Politics has gotten nasty, unnecessarily so, and the police simply don't know where to look. I'm with Jenny Jones of the Green Party on this one. I think it's time that the Home Office release their report entitled Left-Wing Activism and Extremism in the UK. I want to see exactly what they've got on left-wing extremists here in the UK. I mean, there are multiple reports on right-wing extremism, and there are indeed bones to pick with those reports. But if the police have no information about the growing threat of the real far-left extremism going on in the UK, then I think it's about time that we saw it. I think it's time for the Home Office to release this document. The left are not naturally fluffy and cuddly, I'm sorry to say. They're not all peace and love. They're increasingly becoming violent thugs who want to hurt people or destroy the lives of their political opponents. And no, we not only need our police to be aware of this problem, but we need our government to take this threat of left-wing extremism very seriously and understand that lives are being ruined because of this extremism. We're not funded by the government, we don't have big sponsors, and we certainly don't have massive donors. If you'd like to help support our work, please go to rebeldonations.com/thebuck.